What's up, guys? In part 1, we covered what makes Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood a great gateway anime, how it uses shonen storytelling in a unique way, and how the Elric brothers become such iconic protagonists. Now, let's get back into the rest of the discussion.
So, systems, war, and power. So we first talk about Amestris as a militarized state. It was very political in the fantasy kind of sense. So what do you guys have to say about that?
Probably one of my favorite aspects of this whole show, honestly.
Do you remember when we first saw that fan trailer for Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood that you showed us and stuff?
The Inception music, yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
Oh, man, I'm so proud of that.
We initially thought that it took place in Nazi Germany when they mentioned the title of Führer.
It is just Nazis.
Yeah.
I mean,
and
close
you guys,
enough.
you the political intrigue, you guys were just like, Nazis.
Yeah,
so when
and
you saw it.
I specifically remember, at some point during the show, may have been when it was showed that the Führer was kind of was kind of goofy. We're like, maybe they're not Nazis after all. And then about eight episodes later, no, these are turbo magic Nazis. They're big time Nazis. Never mind, they are Nazis.
I remember when you say the Führer seems like a nice guy, and remember I just said, did you see how terrifying he looked when he cut up that other guy?
Yeah, I was like, I don't know what you're
that ice
talking
guy.
about.
When he cut up that ice guy.
The Iceman cameth and went.
The Iceman came and went.
Yeah. So it's not until with the whole conspiracy, when you look around, the midpoint is just completely insane. And you look around, you realize just how many military people there are hanging around in Amestris.
All over. And they're just their ears everywhere.
Yeah,
they all
exactly.
report to one dude.
And who reports to the dude. And the pipe lord.
And the paranoia is very, very good. I remember everyone always got really paranoid about Envy could be around here somewhere. They could be working for the pipe lord. Or you remember when that doctor guy who helped out
Dr.
in May.
Knox.
Knox, okay.
Dr. Knox, who was
Marco.
who's very depressed because of the extremely jacked up stuff he did in the violent civil war, and he was separated from his family.
He should be
and then
messed up from that.
And then after that, his son and wife came, and everyone was so tense. It was like, this could be a trap. This could be Envy or something.
Could be a trap.
Something. We don't know.
We hadn't recovered from the whole Hughes thing. We hadn't.
No.
So then when the last episode came and he showed up again, we were like, oh, he's still alive? So that means the thing with his son and his wife worked out? Yes! It's wins all around. Everyone's winning now.
Yeah, high fives all around.
Yeah. So that's another little bit of joy that ending made me feel.
So, interestingly about Amestris, it operates as a stratocracy wearing the skin of a parliamentary republic.
Bless you. Sorry.
Alright, according to Riza in the Ishval flashback storyline, the country does have a legislative branch, an assembly of people who pass laws. Yeah, but its existence is just to shirk off the suspicion that the military is the entity calling all the shots.
Or that the devil is literally underneath the capital of the country and has been running it for centuries.
Exactly.
Yeah, but who's going to believe that?
That's actually, I can't argue with that.
So as far as anyone knows, it's the assembly that's in charge and not the Führer president. The Führer president, to their thinking, is technically the head of government, but
so that the assembly is those the old men around the boardroom table, like General Raven and the other people?
That's the military High Command.
Oh, okay.
They're the ones that are actually in charge.
So is the assembly in on the conspiracy as well, or
the assembly probably is just a bunch of figureheads who sit around acting like they make decisions, or just maybe talk about a bunch of political jargon that doesn't make sense to the common folk. While the military is just behind. Well, the military is one floor. The military is one floor above actually making the decisions. It's like, okay,
so we're gonna do genocide here. We already did genocide over here. And this genocide over here, that's ongoing. We should probably put the thunder on that a little bit more.
Also, our issue with the homeless is kind of rising up. How are we going to deal with that?
How do you think we're going to deal with that?
We'll kidnap him and make him philosopher's stones?
Yeah, now you're thinking.
Think about it
that's so bad.
Think about it
That's true, by the way. Amestris doesn't have a homeless problem because,
Think about it like the power division between the Imperial Senate and the Imperial military in Star Wars.
Wait, you mean like before A New Hope? Because at that point the Senate was dissolved, because who needs a Senate when you can point a gun at the whole galaxy?
Especially when one guy is the Senate.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. One guy
good.
is the Senate too.
No, they just have the
That was really good.
That was well done.
Yeah,
Thank
they just
you.
have the legislative department around to justify their authority. And then when the time comes, they can just dissolve it all, since they have enough power to be able to force their authority upon their territories, whether the inhabitants of them like it or not.
Plus, the assembly isn't really going to matter much anyway when the promised day arrives.
Exactly.
But so like can you like a bunch of state alchemists like by the right of a mistress and her by the right of a mistress, her people and her laws, you're under arrest, Fuhrer Bradley. Are you threatening me, state alchemist?
The Senate, the assembly, will decide your fate.
Or was it the Parliament?
I am Parliament.
The
I
Parliament will decide.
am the Sith.
Not yet.
It's treason. Then
I was gonna say the only difference is that unlike the fight in Revenge of the Sith, that fight will probably be over in about 2 seconds.
Honestly.
yeah, it would not. It would not.
It
last
would not.
very
It was a
long.
great. It was a great try. That was a lot of gusto, but
You're not
you're gonna die.
But you're not. There's a lot of gusto, but you're not gonna beat Fuhrer King Bradley.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You're not beating him in a fight.
Which guy won't be able to beat him?
I don't know.
No one.
Also a figurative situation.
It's like how the Caleb City video about how it's the the sidekicks or like the other guys who are the most courageous and try to fight the main guy.
Yeah, I just watched a clip from the Clone Wars when everyone was fighting Ponkrell, and almost everyone in the comments was bringing up when they were in the tower how one guy was shooting at Ponkrell and then just ran at him, still shooting his blaster, and he immediately got cut in half. So I was like,
Are you serious?
oh yeah.
Oh no.
I do not like seeing bad things happen to the clones.
Me
even
neither.
after-
Yeah, me neither.
Even
Yeah.
after they turn into stormtroopers.
And it kind of becomes a similar thing with the Briggs soldiers getting cut to pieces during Bradley's onslaught when he kills the tank.
that was brutal.
Yeah, exactly. Another one of the best action scenes in the series. It was just, he's so terrifying.
Yeah, and speaking of Amestris doing whatever the heck it wants, you mentioned the Ishval and Civil War, it kind of gets one thing that I really like is how it goes when it's only after you learn about the whole Crest of Blood thing and you learn about with the Ishval and Civil War, and that whole thing becomes even more horrific than you initially thought it was.
Yeah,
because
because
they're specifically killing people to make what is essentially a super weapon.
Yeah, because just the idea of genocide, it isn't that bad until you think about.
All the individual
No,
lives.
I was kidding.
Oh, wait. I thought I was joking.
Oh no!
started-
Maybe we should look
you're
into
joking.
that a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm joking.
yeah,
I'm joking.
you started to sound like a member of the Mestrian military command.
Yeah.
Okay, it's genocide. It isn't that bad because think about it. I mean,
I
we're
know
all
it
gonna-
sounds.
Yeah,
bad.
I mean, we're all gonna be immortal. So it does. What does
Yeah.
it matter if some people,
Aren't. So it's like, come on, we're not the monsters. It's not like we're going out to the battlefield, pointing a gun at someone and killing them.
Yeah,
that'll be monstrous. We send people to do that.
Yeah, we just tell them to
we
do
got
that.
people to do
Yeah,
that.
but anyway, it's just the idea. It's like it's just obviously
it makes it worse.
Yeah.
It turns like a horrific thing into a more horrific thing.
It's like,
How's
it's
the-
easy
yeah,
to say that one person murdered another. It's possibly even makes it even worse or more complicated or more tragic when you learn why it happened. And then, of course, we learn how the whole thing got started with Envy. That's a great scene when he reveals it, by the way. It's such a fantastic villain.
Yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
know I
honestly.
could hate him. I didn't know I could hate him even more. But
I
I love him, but I love to hate him too.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
And I know that you mentioned this a lot, Quincy, how when Envy is telling the story, you see him with the red eyes and all that. But when Riza tells the story, it doesn't show with the red eyes. It just shows the Mestrian soldier shooting the Ishvalan child, right?
A Mestrian soldier.
Oh, in the
quotes.
manga?
it's-
Is that
no,
what it does?
in the anime, it shows
Oh.
the exact same. It shows the exact same scene.
That is so good.
yeah, again, it's what we were discussing with the different what was the word? Different perspectives on this,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. And I totally get how that genocide started with that. Like the killing of a child.
It's right out in the
Right out in the open.
During a military occupation, which was not met very well, but stuff was stable by
Yeah.
military occupation
like
standards.
when
But
you-
stuff was at on the hinge of going haywire. So there just needed to be one tiny little thing that would cause everyone to lose it.
Yeah.
And they had to bring in the king of making people lose it.
It's like when you touch the children of any nation,
It's over.
the people are gonna go bat crap insane.
Yeah.
And speaking of bat crap insane, they brought Kimberly, who kind of leveled the whole country.
Literally.
I know he's like, look, I know he's horrible, but he's also just like, it's just
And he's got impeccable style.
impeccable style.
Yeah.
But he's also, like I said, he's also really cool. It's like also a really good proto foil for Edward if you look closely. Like you looked at it, like if you look at it on the tin, just really quickly. If you look at it on the tin, Ed joined the military so that he could save Alphonse and learn a bunch of stuff to get the Philosopher's Stone.
Yeah.
Kimberly actually has a Philosopher's Stone. I don't know why he joined the military.
Probably just to kill people.
I think,
Probably just to
he
kill
has an
people.
excuse.
Yeah, but he has also has a very simple view of being able to use his alchemy. He uses alchemy in a very similar way to Edward. He ties his hair back. He also wears a coat that other state alchemists we wear something that other state alchemists don't wear.
Right.
Ed has his coat with what's the symbol on the back called that Izumi Curtis had?
Flamel. It's called
with
Flamel.
with the Flamel symbol, whereas Kimberly has an impossibly stylish white coat.
Yeah.
White suit and coat, which just looks
that is
looks
nice.
yeah, that is looks super nice.
Edward has a specific thing of not wanting to become a human weapon. Kimberly
he literally is a human weapon.
Yeah,
And
he's
he
like,
likes
he
it.
loves it.
Yeah, I'm not just a human weapon for the fun. I do other things
It's like,
too.
I'm the human weapon, but I also do other things.
But I also do other things too, like talking to people, so I'll be able to have as much power as possible, or manipulating these drachma guys to be able to attack Briggs, so that I can watch them all die. Yeah. This doesn't show up in the anime, but right after that, what last commander guy dies, the
After
drachma
Briggs
military
kills everyone.
The survivors try to take Kimberly in, so they'll be able to take him in for questioning. And then Kimberly uses Philosopher's Stone to murder everyone, which causes an avalanche. And then we don't see him again until he shows up in an abandoned building. I have no idea how he got out of there, but that's a cool scene.
Did he just tunnel under the ground? Probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
Using
probably.
mainly spoons.
Oh, and one last thing is that in terms of hair, like you said with Edward and Kimberly, Edward has his hair usually has his hair in a braid or ponytail, and he has his little hair antennae for the sake of height. For adding height, which he apparently counts. It doesn't count.
No.
But anyway, whereas Kimberly also has jet black hair tied in a ponytail with his sort of
These really
weird grasshopper looking antenna things. I don't know
Hard
what
to
you
draw,
call it.
by the way. Hard to draw.
I don't know.
it is hard
I don't
to
know
draw.
what you call it, but this is another sort of thing. I guess to show how he's easygoing and how he has zero. He's not self-conscious about anything, including all of the murder that he does.
Yeah. Anyway, so
He's also not a pervert, which is nice.
yeah,
Like a mad dog.
and he also and he respects it when people find something that they are pleased with. Like you remember in the manga when we was going off to learn more about Briggs' alchemy. Then Kimberly was looking at her with a wistful expression, and it was like, look at her go, she's learning more about art and committing her life to it. It's very nice. And then Edward was like, "Hey, old man," and then Kimberly was like, "Watch it." It's like, "Hey, are you serious? I'm not a pervert or anything." Anyway, back to business.
Yeah, he was just appreciating how she wanted to learn more about something she loves.
Oh, the automail. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
the automail. So
I'm glad that he respects when people have a passion.
The
Like, that's cool.
The caveat is that he's a murderous psychopath.
He's a
who is
homicidal
based off,
maniac.
he's a homicidal maniac who's based off Alex DeLarge. So I'm serious, by the way.
that's right.
Yo, he
Yeah.
even mentioned that.
Forgot about that.
He even mentioned that enthusiasm about Winry's parents.
Yeah, who he was sent to kill, by the way, until Scar did the job for him. And he was like, "Well, looks like we're too late."
Yeah.
I hate it when someone else does my job.
Huh.
Yeah. So anyway, just wanted to touch on it. So you mentioned Kimberly, and I just wanted to brought that up.
Yeah,
But anyway,
that's good that we're talking about him because next, we're talking about the evil systems versus evil individuals. It's still in section 4.
yeah.
Janice
So-
Ian once said there are two types of evil people: people who do evil things and people who watch people do evil things and do nothing about it.
Preach.
Yeah, we see both of these here. So
Yeah.
Amestris, evil system. I think we can all agree that the Mestrian government is very evil.
Entirely so evil.
The king of colonialism. The reason why
And
it's
imperialism.
and imperialism. But the reason why it's a perfect circle is because throughout the centuries they've built this country off of war and genocide and
I'm
death.
gonna get to that.
Yeah, for the sake of the crest of blood and for the bigger goal of the Pipe Lord becoming, God.
It's sick and
essentially.
twisted,
Yeah,
but
so for the promised day.
Like you said, no homeless people because they've all been turned into the Philosopher's Stones. But, they have very clean streets. The people seem happy, well-fed, well-cared for, good government system. And then you just dig deeper into it. It's like, wow, this sucks.
And then, of course, they send their
Everybody
people off.
sucks.
They send their people off into fighting random wars and die. Like, one thing that I remember, like, I was talking about how the whole thing with learning about the Philosopher's Stones somehow makes these genocides even worse. Like, I remember with the whole thing with, what's his name? The guy with the glasses on Mustang's team.
The guy who looks like, what's his name from
Fury?
Evangelion?
Fury, yeah.
Yeah, Fury,
Dude, that name is far too tough for that guy.
He's such a cutie pie.
He's like a really nice guy and really young. And I remember when he was apparently sent off to World War One.
It's like, what?
Trench war.
And then we're like, where is he?
He better not die. He better not die.
Yeah, and
He's a survivor.
I was a skeptic. Good Lord, imagine what it's like to know why you're being sent over there, to know that if you die, you're essentially helping to create a giant weapon that will kill everybody you love. That is a horrifying thought. So that's what gives you extra motivation to not die. And what a survivor if he didn't die.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I said, that's just so mind-bogglingly horrifying to think about. Like, your death will contribute to the creation of a war machine that will kill everybody you care about.
You've been sent on a Uriah Gambit, and you know it's a Uriah Gambit.
Exactly.
And you're Uriah, by the way.
In case you didn't know.
Yeah, like, that's horrifying. That's like one of the most horrifying things I could think of with this show, actually.
Oh, that adds a whole nother layer of horror to it. But you even see this during the Ishval War. You remember General Fessler, right?
Was that?
I hate that man so much.
You see that piece of crap who was super giddy about killing everyone.
To throw as many bodies at the threat until it become a problem, and then when all those bodies get blown away, throw in more bodies.
But never his body, because he's command.
Then Bass Brand was like, "Hey, how about we throw your body next, huh?" And then he shoots him in the head and throws his corpse at the battlefield.
No, he actually shoots him in the stomach.
Yeah, I know.
And everyone
says it was a stray bullet. That's what I saw.
By the way, Mace Hughes was the one who said it was a stray bullet, which is
really?
Yeah, because
I remember that.
That was just
everyone hated Fessler.
And
man.
my favorite part was when Grand said, "Well, was due to his untimely demise from said stray bullet that was a stray bullet. I will assume command."
So we're getting out of here.
So we're getting out of here.
I think it was actually when a bunch of Ishvalans went to negotiate with Bradley, and that Bessel guy just wanted them to gun them all down. And then Boss Grand was like, "Well, looks like I'm in charge now." And the main guy, Ishvalan guy, was like, "Well, thank you for the help." And Boss Grand is like, "Okay, don't thank me yet. We haven't even done anything yet. I just hope your conversation with the Fuhrer goes well." And it didn't because Bradley,
Because you just kill him?
Bradley's just he's a demon in human clothing.
Yeah.
literally. I'm pretty sure he killed them. Although he did have a very good
No. He didn't. Like, you're talking about the people who in
may as
charge
well
when they
have.
sent in the leader of the leader
I'm
of the
pretty
group.
sure they just sent them in prison and then executed them. Like, what else are they gonna do? It's gonna add to the crest of blood anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when it was like a group of people, including the leader of the country, if I remember correctly, who
The
was
head
going,
priest, I think.
Yeah, who was going in to say, like, I will trade my life for the lives of all these people that are being slaughtered. And then Bradley was like, "Yeah, no. You think your life is equal to all these people who are dying? That's not how this works."
One human life is worth just that. One human life. And then, of course, he has the great lines, God, when someone says, "You will suffer the hammer of God." God, you say? Now, this is interesting. Tell me, how many more thousands of lives must I destroy before your God interferes? If you want to kill me, use your own hands to do so, not God's. And it's at that point when you realize, oh man, this guy is so evil.
This guy is just
evil.
This guy is just like a nihilist. Do you think there's at least one person in the MS2 who was like in that tent who's just like, "Oh my gosh, I should not have. This is not what I signed up for."
Hughes was there, so this is absolutely what he was thinking.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And obviously, evil systems, very bad. But then when you compare with the actual people, like the individual people who were actually fighting in the war, not Kimberly, they
No, we're setting him to the side. We're not thinking about or looking at him.
Because Kimberly does raise a great point of saying that they became soldiers, they became state alchemists because they knew that they were going to be. When they became state alchemists and in the war, they knew that they were going to have to fight in a gruesome, bloody war. Who cares if it's a genocide and if you're killing innocent people? You still knew you were going to kill people, so what difference does it make? And essentially telling them to own the fact that they're a bunch of murderers committing war crimes. Well, and nobody...
He's got a point.
He's got a point. It's sick. It is sick.
Imperialism. He's like we're talking about. I'm going to
He's got a point, though.
Yeah. I'm really glad you brought that up because I'm going to take, a little later, I'm going to take some sections from this really, really good article that I found on medium.com that's about imperialism and Fullmetal Alchemist.
Yeah.
So, Mac, you can go ahead and say your bit.
And the thing that really, really stinks is that if you do anything to disobey the orders of, because if you refuse to commit genocide, then you're kind of ruined. Like what happened to Armstrong, who very understandably cracked and broke down on the battlefield because of how awful stuff was.
Wasn't he
and then freaking
creating the child, an Ishvalan child's body?
Yeah, exactly. And what's his
Fessler.
What's his name? The piece of crap. Yeah, when Fessler was like being a total heartless jerk about it as well. And if I remember correctly, that ended up impacting his career, Armstrong's career, in a really negative way. You literally, I'm pretty sure this is a thing that happens in actual conflicts like that, which I'm gonna have to do some depressing research on that. So you are literally powerless. You can't do anything, and you have to kill people in the thousands and expect to not feel anything about it, which is what ended up happening with Mustang, who, in my opinion,
is the best example of this.
got the worst deal of all of them all, because he has the explosion. He has the explosion alchemy. He has no choice but to do this. Otherwise, again, the whole thing, like I said, of him losing his career, or I don't even know what else they could do. They could do to him.
Probably court-martial him.
Or court-martial him. And the Amestrian military is without mercy because imperialism. So there is no silver lining with any of this except for killing envy, but that comes later.
Okay, I'm gonna read this section because that ties into with Mustang, and then I'll read the part about the Pipe Lord. I'll start with this with Mustang. So Mustang begins his character as a proud patriot, seeking to serve in his military. In chapter 58, he explains in response to his teacher's ridicule that he believes that being useful to the military is linked to being useful to the people, and he continuously cites that he was always driven by a desire to use his abilities to protect the people of his country, a sentiment shared by many other military and alchemist characters in the series. However, at the same time, the reader can see Mustang being vulnerable to military propaganda, as in the same page as before he states, "Now that we are exposed to threats from the surrounding countries, strengthening the military is most urgent." As the reader should know at this point that Amestris was the country instigating military action on its borders, it is clear that these surrounding threats are lies being fed to impressionable people such as the younger Mustang. So,
yeah,
I thought that was a really good section because he was so young, like in the beginning of the Ishvalan War.
He looked more like he had to be by the time he couldn't have been older than 20.
Like
right?
with that flashback when it showed him at Mr. Hawkeye.
Master Hawkeye.
Yeah, Master
He was so
Hawkeye's
young.
place.
He looked like He looked more like Edward as
Yeah.
far as having that hopeful expression of being able to learn more about alchemy.
That's all he wanted.
And that's why he wanted to learn about flame alchemy, which I'm sure is what got him his state alchemist badge.
Oh yeah,
license.
big time.
Oh,
Like all he had to do was do one Moab explosion, and the high command was just like, "Okay, you're hired. Get over here. Take your uniform. You are hired. You are one of us. You are going to kill do so many good things for us."
Oh man.
Yeah, but it's... Go on.
And then he does what I think we can all agree that what Mustang did, even if he had absolutely no choice, I think we can all agree that what Mustang did during the Ishvalan Civil War
It's
was
freaking
evil. It was evil, right?
It was
yeah,
horrible.
big time.
Like he could have not done it like with Major Armstrong, but he had his sights so set on his goal that he was going to do whatever he could.
And what's more,
and he just just really quickly and you read the manga. First of all, the Ishvalan Civil War arc is like my favorite. It's like that's my favorite arc the flashbacks in the manga actually. And also it does like a really good thing with like when it shows the battles and it shows the deaths of the soldiers with the added context of the Crest of Blood. It kind of gives every single death added meaning because it's not just senseless violence, which it is, but it's for a calculated plan for the Philosopher's Stone, which again horrifying. But anyway, like when Mustang was so used to seeing him being very confident and awesome and charismatic,
and, Roy Mustang, Flame Alchemist, don't forget it.
Yeah, exactly. But to see him just killing so many innocent people with an absolutely...
Men, women, and children. Incinerating them. It is horrifying. Yeah.
I think it's more horrifying in the manga, too, actually, because it like, spends more time showing them. And, like, there was one part, I remember, when he showed up, and doesn't even show him at first, because it's just the explosions of people being blasted away. And there's one guy who's half scorched, who's still half alive, and as he's lying on his back, and he looks up, and he sees Mustang, who's wearing the white uniform, the State Alchemist uniform with a white kind of cloak thing.
It should be noted that in Japan, the color white is a color of death, so that might be why.
And he looks at Mustang and says to himself, "This is alchemy, but this is supposed to be for the good of the people." And then he gets blasted away, which is, like I said, just horrifying. And Mustang looks absolutely dead and depressed. And like we said, he couldn't have been older than 20 at this point.
Oh, and it should be noted, if I remember correctly, that since that Mustang wanted to advance his career so that Amestris would be able to go to a better, less killer method of doing things governmentally, which is why he wants to be the Führer, and why when he was looking up at Bradley, which Bradley with his ultimate eye noticed, obviously. So that's another thing why he literally couldn't refuse to do anything like this, because in order for him to further the country, become Führer, and make it a better place that doesn't kill people wantonly, seemingly for no reason, he can't be court-martialed. He can't have a bad record, aside from being a quote-unquote war hero.
So to ensure that this kind of thing never happens again, and that nobody is ever on the side of being a murderer or a victim of murder or anything like that, he has to stay in this corrupt, evil system to be able to make it good. And that's the only way it could ever be made better.
Dog of the military, indeed.
It did kind of affect him though, because obviously he still had the bloodlust later when he was torturing Envy, you know, and even Lust. But also, I had a point to make.
The kind of cold, callous mind. He could still have a cold, callous mindset, but he tries to use that for good. Yeah. And then that whole thing with these I bet you anything that when he was killing the homunculi. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so anyway. Also, that is what's like being in the rat race. Because he's having to, depend on these other people and really, really care about the opinion of his bosses, of the people who are going to continue increasing his rank, and they obviously pay him as well. But he isn't worrying about the pay as much. He didn't seem like the type, but he is worrying about the rank and getting where he wants to be in life, and then he'll be set, But even then, he's going to have to depend on these people. And that's why with being the Führer, he probably won't have to depend on anyone but himself, And then he'll be able to make a good change and bring peace. But this is after he's standing on a mound of bodies.
It's like Commander Erwin style.
Yeah, Commander Erwin style. That's how he got to be a commander.
I will say though, that I think given the situation, I feel like Mustang might be more of a moral person than Commander Erwin.
I would say so.
I mean, you compare most of the characters, like the good guys in Fullmetal Alchemist, with the characters in Attack on Titan, and a bit more moral. I'd say, but then again, different environment. So
Anyway, I was going to say, I bet you anything that with Mustang killing Lust and killing Envy, obviously he was motivated by different things. But I wonder if he was also motivated by the fact that they were controlling the military in this violent war, and he's finally able to use his flame alchemy for pay dirt. Yeah, so that they know how it felt.
You say pay dirt?
Pay dirt. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh,
I was saying to pay them back, basically. Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, granted, with Lust, it was so that he'd be able to save the people he loves.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to, because Lust was trying to, kill them, which is a great little thing of how Mustang was able to kill Lust with the power of love, which is because
that's cute.
It was brilliant.
Yeah.
But whereas with Envy, that was so that he'd be able to. That was because so that he'd be able to actually do something with his flame alchemy to pay them back.
Well, that's encouraging. I mean, he could have just had. He could have just had Riza shoot him. It wouldn't have been an issue.
Yeah,
he
but
was
you know,
crazy.
setting this guy's arms and legs on fire just felt so much better in the moment.
Yeah. So the cycle of hatred, I think Lust had a really good monologue about that, but I do want to go into with how, the homunculus or the pipe lord in this case, this article from modern.com, or medium.com, I should say. It was discussing the imperialistic symbolism in the metaphors with how the pipe lord was acting pretty much. So I'll just read the section. Assuming the homunculus represents a country, particularly one with powerful influence, then the imperialistic symbolism is fairly direct. Homunculus, or Pipe Lord, was born or built from the blood of a slave, Hohenheim. Then he turns around and belittles for being stupid and powerless. He then dangles the desires of freedom and liberty and implies that he and Hohenheim are seeking the same thing, all in order to take advantage of Hohenheim later. It is a tenet of imperialistic empires to take advantage of the peoples that the empire sees as lesser, despite often being built from the work those people are forced into doing. Additionally, much like a country wishing to expand its influence and break from its borders, Homunculus admits his greatest wish in life is to be free of his flask. He also finds this to be more desirable than having friends or family, of course, right?
Naturally.
Then, in Chapter 75, Homunculus takes advantage of a corrupt, self-serving government to obtain the means to expand his power. His influence instigates civil unrest through the destruction of border cities disguised as rebel attacks, and government projects disguised as infrastructure benefiting the ignorant rural citizens to keep suspicions from rising. And then, after the country of Xerxes has quite literally been absorbed by Homunculus, and he has been allowed to escape his flask and leave his borders, he moves on to repeat this with another country, that of Amestris.
Colonialism.
That is one heck of a way to look at that.
How did this cow do this?
I highly doubt she was thinking about all that when she wrote it.
So,
but it just happened. It just happened because that's how great writing works.
Yeah, I don't even know. Like, because there's also a possibility that she was thinking about it. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. I think that we could have a really good discussion with her, honestly. Because it's like that woman is like a genius.
Yeah, all we gotta do is either learn Japanese or kidnap someone who could speak English and Japanese,
right?
Or hire someone or hire a translator. I don't know. Those cost money though.
Which will take which will be done in a shorter amount of time.
The kidnapping.
I mean, I'm a little afraid that you guys both went to that conclusion at the exact same time.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, is that legal?
No.
I don't think it's ever been legal.
Oh.
I know, it's disappointing, right?
Yeah, I mean, come on, this happens. They do it all the time in like different, the different shows. You think that when there's a character that has a specific thing that's going to be integral to the plot, the bad guys are like, maybe we'll find a substitute. No, they're just like, okay, we'll just go.
It's like, we're doing this.
Yeah, exactly. We're doing this. Like Chainsaw Man does it. Attack on Titan does it. Fullmetal Alchemist actually does it. Yeah, exactly. That sort of thing. Yeah,
it's perfect. Anyway, so like I said, that's like that is a really good way to look at it, and of course
that's brilliant.
And of course, setting up the empire and all that, which becomes completely literal when Pipe Lord actually does take Bradley's place during the final arc. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
After the train bombing.
The link to this article is in the description.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Just FYI.
Yeah, and I wonder what that would mean Hohenheim represents, because
That's a good point, actually. Yeah. Is the article going to get into that?
That's why I'm checking.
Yeah, because one thing I find interesting is that I didn't realize this until after we finished the show, but while the Pipe Lord was doing this thing in Amestris and becoming a warmongering, empire-building, genocidal maniac.
Yeah, Satan.
Yeah. Well, what was it? Red called him a genocidal maniac on the far end of the Bishonen line.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Whereas Hohenheim, he went after the whole thing with Xerxes, he was wandering in the desert for God knows how long because he couldn't die, and was talking to the people that were trapped inside him That is horrifying. Which was
like 500,000, by the way.
Yeah, and then he was brought in by some Shingese travelers who took him in, and then he went to Shing, and then with his knowledge of alchemy and the new Philosopher's Stone, he taught them alchemy, and then
like how to heal stuff.
How to heal alchemy. Yes, how to heal, how to use the whole chi sensing thing. I don't know how that part works, but it's really cool. And then, whereas the Pipe Lord was in Amestris, warmongering, which is why the alchemy in Amestris is far more
militant and deadly.
Deadly, brutal, weapons, that kind of thing. Then, again, we love Hohenheim in Brotherhood.
We
love him. We love him so much.
He's the best.
He's the best.
Yeah, one of the
he's an adorable man. Also, with his family.
Yeah, he's great.
It speaks to his personality how when you realize that he was the one who what would they call him? What was it they call him in Shinese culture?
The philosopher of the East, I think.
Philosopher of the West.
Yeah,
the philosopher of the East is the Pipe Lord when he came to the area that would later be known as Amestris.
Yeah.
It was a lot smaller before, apparently.
Before they genocided their way into being a great big circle.
Man, it's the Eldian Empire all over again.
It is the Eldian Empire all over again. And but anyway, it really speaks to Hohenheim's character when you realize that he did something really similar with what the Pipe Lord did in Amestris, except he taught people how to help others and heal and that sort of thing. Whereas the Pipe Lord, when he went to Amestris, his whole goal was war and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And another little detail that I really love is when the Pipe Lord and Hohenheim were fighting each other in the catacombs underneath in his throne room, how then they were doing a big alchemy battle and Hohenheim was trying to talk, and then there was one of my favorite beats was when the Pipe Lord set a whole bunch of rocks toward him, and then Hohenheim transmuted a bunch of other rocks to be able to help a wall, and then he made another transmutation, a door that he opened and said come on, I don't really want to fight. I mean, combat hasn't always been my thing, but then he starts doing more attacks and spamming more attacks. Specifically, one of my favorites being him sticking a stone dragon. The Pipe Lord sticking a stone dragon at Hohenheim, and then Hohenheim also sets a dragon on him, except it's an Eastern Chinese dragon, whereas the Pipe Lord's is a Western European style dragon. Which, I mean, it's just a little detail. It's super cool.
Eastern dragons are known as the sages in the mythology, while European dragons, Western
guard
ones,
castles and kill innocent versions.
Yeah, the European dragons are the beasts, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, also
Cal's genius.
Really quickly about Hohenheim. One thing that I really like is just really quick. I just want to talk about Hohenheim really quickly. Can I talk about Hohenheim really quickly? Can we talk about Hohenheim
real quickly?
Yeah. It's how he's deconstruction. Grisha Jaeger's the same. It's also the same, just for different reasons. He's a deconstruction.
For those who watch Attack on Titan, you'll find out.
Yeah, so angsty father-son relationships is like a staple in anime, and I think Hohenheim is like a great subversion of this, where obviously he left when Edward and Al were young, so he wasn't around when their mom died, and then we learned the reason why he left. We not only learned the reason why he left, but we also learned that he told Trisha why he left. They had a great loving marriage, and one of Hohenheim's main issues is the fact that since he's an immortal being and he has a lot of guilt about all the people that he's trapped in his soul, since he has so much guilt, he doesn't know how to properly love them and how to be a proper father. And then so when he leaves and Trisha dies, the reason why is because since he's immortal, he doesn't understand time that well. So for all he knew, he was gone for a week. And then we only
like 5 years.
Yeah, we only learned this later on. But initially, everyone was very, very nervous because we thought that Hohenheim and the Pipe Lord were the same person, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I knew the truth the whole time because I like to spoil myself.
So like at the end of season 1, when it shows him in the throne room, we're like, does that mean that that's Ed and Al's dad, and he's the bad guy, and he's like the devil, and he's the Pipe Lord devil that's underneath he's the Pipe Lord devil underneath the city or underneath somewhere anyway. So
yeah, you guys were so freaked out.
So then
it was great
when he shows up in the Risen Bull, you're super. We were just very like sort of tense because this is the big bad. This is the bad guy. He's kind of creepy, but also why is he kind of a dork at the same time? But anyway, so then at the end of season 2, when they actually go to the lair and it shows that the Hohenheim is somewhere off in the mountains while this guy is in his throne room and underneath the city. My mind was just going
teleportation.
Wait a minute. So their dad, Hohenheim, von Hohenheim, he's off in the mountains doing God knows where, doing God knows what. So if that's the case, who the heck is this guy? And why does he look exactly like him? Are they brothers?
Evil twin?
Am I crazy?
Question mark?
I mean, but the answer is yes. Yeah, that's yes.
Also,
technically, Brotherhood.
Yeah, so sorry, you go ahead.
No, that's all I was saying. Like, it's like, ta-da, Brotherhood. Ba-da-ba-ba.
And also, honorable mention, Hohenheim making a swing for Edenal, but then falling off the tree.
That was so sweet.
Yeah.
Like I think I speak for everyone where I almost felt the compulsion to almost run towards the TV and like, oh, are you okay? Wait a minute, it's the TV. What am I doing?
Oh yeah, gosh, are you okay?
Yeah, and then I'm sorry to bring this up, but
oh no,
comparing him to the one in 2003. We did not like the Hohenheim in 2003.
He's terrible.
Yeah,
that's why.
We talked about a little bit with how he treated Envy, but then we learned that he left Trisha because he learned that his flesh was rotting, and he didn't feel like he could talk. He didn't tell her before about all that.
Miscommunication. So what I was talking about.
Yeah, miscommunication.
It's the bad anime trope.
I mean,
it was in the 2003, and it was just bad.
Actually,
I'm pretty bad.
Hadn't his body been rotting and decomposing for a while even before that?
I'm pretty sure he actually did tell Trisha that he just didn't want his sons to have to live through that and see that. But it's still just not good.
It's still
send
not good.
Letters.
He could have. If he was letters. Yeah, if he was leaving because of that, because they didn't want them to see him, then you could just be a bit, like I said, a distant thing. You just send letters.
It's a long distance, being a long distance father. You
may be immortal and you may have lived centuries, but you could probably still remember your freaking address.
Yeah, and you might as well, like, if I feel like this is like a bit of a step down. Well, not a step down, but like for why didn't tell Edenal before? Like, tell Edenal in Brotherhood. Like, I get it. He's going off to try to save the country. How the heck is he? And how the heck is Trisha going to explain that to the little kids? How the heck is Honam going to explain that? But it's like, you could at least say you have a weird bad skin condition you gotta have checked out or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
that's going to become lethal soon.
Like
a bad skin condition that's going to become lethal soon.
So I'm saying this because I recently rewatched this movie, but Benjamin Button was aging backwards, and he had to leave his family behind because he was afraid of how Daisy was going to have to raise both their kid and him when he ends up, they're going back to adolescent phase essentially, and then she still sent. I don't know if he sent letters, but he sent postcards.
He stayed in communication,
and he sent them to Daisy and to his daughter, saying that he wished he could have been there, wish he could have been for the 13th birthday, wish he could have told her not to chase after that boy, and basically wishing that he could have been a part of her childhood.
He sent letters, and he hoped. It was just so sad.
But the reason he couldn't visit is because it would just seem very, very strange.
Yeah, because it looked like her dad
is 20 years old or something.
I was gonna say 18, or like 16 or something.
That is worse.
Her dad is worse. Her age.
Yeah, Benjamin. Yeah,
looks her age.
With Benjamin Button, that reasoning that is 100% fair.
That makes
go watch the movie.
Sense.
Go watch the movie.
Yeah.
In case you're wondering, this is my favorite. It's one of my favorite movies. It's my favorite David Fincher movie.
Understandable.
And Hohenheim, interestingly enough, is your favorite character in Fullmetal Alchemist.
Yeah, Hohenheim's my favorite character in Fullmetal Alchemist. Brotherhood.
Yeah, Brotherhood. Yeah.
And also another thing with Hohenheim is that his kids are gonna start asking questions that have very complex answers when they see that their dad has looked the same since they were like 5 years old.
Yeah, like, hey, I just saw a picture of you with Auntie Pinako, and you look the exact same. She looks different because she's taller, and she looks like Winry. And she looks like Winry with brown hair, but you don't. You look the same.
What's up with that?
What's
like,
up with
yeah,
that?
kids ask questions.
Yeah.
And
He's like,
You can't just say good genes.
Yeah, you can't say good genes. You can't just say Photoshop.
yeah, you can't say that.
What's Photoshop?
Oh, that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. Also, it does make sense with how like his perception of time is probably like vastly different from
He
everyone
must have been
else's.
late
He's been around for 400 years.
Yeah, so you're right. He could have thought that he'd just been gone for like a month or something like that instead of years like he actually was.
And then when he comes back, his house is burned down and his wife is dead and his house is burned down, his wife's dead and his sons are gone.
That's like crap.
Crap, yeah. And then
crap.
one thing I really like is how they still show is that it shows once again with the what do we call it? With the gives both ways with the relationships with Hohenheim and Trisha. Trisha was the one who always made sure to tell him that you're not a monster, you're a human, and you're a human, and you have to be able to maintain that, and you have to that kind of thing.
And she was making sure he knew that he was a part of the family with the family photo. And whenever I watch that scene, I actually feel like I want to cry because the look on his face.
Yeah.
And the scene that also makes me want to cry is with the scene when he's about to leave and he's looking at Ed and Al, and you initially think he's looking at them with a contemptuous glare because he's being a jerk. But then you learn,
glare.
but then you learn, he's
trying
not to cry
because he loves them.
Yeah, and then there's and the whole interlude party scene the episode is very weird and interesting. But another thing about his maintaining his humanity and learning about it is that when Ed tells him what Panako wanted him to tell him, when Trisha said that, I'm sorry, it looks like I'm going to be going first, because they said that they would grow old together. And I remember in the manga, this happens in the anime too, but in the manga, as soon as Hohenheim hears that, he just bursts into tears.
Yeah, he literally just breaks down, and Ed is like, "Whoa, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't even like you, and now you're breaking down crying."
Imagine he cried, right? And then he's looking at the two chimeras, and they're just like, come on. And then later on, the chimera's like, come on, man, your dad, he seems like a nice guy. It looks like he's just trying to have a relationship with you. Don't be so hard. I mean,
why did you punch him in the face? Why did you punch him in the face earlier?
Yeah.
It seems really nice.
And then Ed was like, come on, I've got my own personal links with the guy. Take care of your business. And then they're both like, he's probably got some stupid reason for this. Yeah, what a jerk.
Right. And also,
I love the chimera so much.
I love them. And the thing is, with them, like they probably understand that, being a husband, being a father, they understand.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing that you only understand. Hard. Well, it's the kind of thing you only understand when you get older and they get it. But Edward's a stupid kid.
He's a stupid, immature kid.
Yeah.
So he's not going to get it. He's just sees red. He only sees what he wants to see.
Yeah, I mean, basically. I don't blame him. He's holding on to this angst for years and years. But, I mean...
Al has more empathy.
Yeah, Al has more empathy. But I mean, I was just like, as far as reasons go for your father leaving, that is probably like the best reason. Because he was always going to come back, and he told the wife.
He wants to save the world. But you remember when he
won $1 million?
You remember when he saw Alphonse again, and he's like, and Alphonse was like, Dad, and then Hohenheim was like,
my vintage armor.
Because he didn't know about the armor. That's the manga. And if I remember correctly, he was at Lior, and he was saying like, "Hey Rose, I finished all the dishes. Anything else for me to do?" God,
that's adorable.
That's why he's blonde. That's because he's a ray of sunshine.
Yeah, and his purpose, like for when he had a family, when he married Trisha, he has kids. His purpose was to be a family man, but then he realized, oh shoot, I gotta save the world too. So he was going to take a bit, step back and do that, and then he was going to come back to being the family man again. But then by the time he did, everything was screwed up, and then he had to continue doing what he was doing with saving the world, and then he became a dishwasher, and he was working for Rose, and he just needs purpose.
So I guess maybe this could have been solved if I don't know if he had a watch. Or like maybe a calendar on hand.
I don't know.
Maybe he kept a watch like the first 200 years after he became after he got the Philosopher's Stone, after watches were made. But then because they were so unreliable, because he doesn't have time conception. Yeah, maybe it got broken.
Maybe it got broken.
Wait a minute, couldn't he have been able to fix it with alchemy?
Okay, good point.
Maybe he forgot.
Yeah. Maybe he lost it.
Yeah.
I mean, he was going around the country, so that also takes That also takes a little while.
Yeah, he's other important things to think
him
about.
and Free would get along.
They would get along.
Big
Word,
time.
they would get along so well.
They would get along, wouldn't they?
They are very similar now that I think about it.
Yeah, and of course, and one thing I remember is like obviously Hohenheim is such a great character is that in the episode when he dies, first of all, I'm very sorry, Mr.
Not a, wait,
Curse.
this keeps,
So sorry,
this keeps
Mr.
I remember
happening.
like, are you kidding me?
I was like, why? Why does
We
this
were
keep happening?
so close too.
Yeah.
We're always so close to the end, and
Yeah.
we're like, "Oh, is this person gonna survive?"
Yeah,
And
it's
then-
like, Mister, I think the curse, I don't think it's gonna happen. It's like in the Avengers Endgame, remember? Guys, I think it worked. And then Thanos' missile is just like, the curse.
right.
I think one of the more just kind of frustrating examples of this for me was
Spoilers
Heimdall-
for...
Arcane Season 2.
Right, okay.
Death.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you kidding me?
Also, I just want to say at that episode with the credits, I remember that they think the whole thing was just a tribute to Hohenheim.
Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
is
it was.
beautiful. It was beautiful.
It's beautiful.
Okay, so
I'm not crying. You are.
okay, so let's briefly touch on the legacy of Fullmetal. Sorry, I don't know what happened there.
We've talked for a long
Alchemist
time.
Brotherhood. Yeah, about why it still tops the best anime ever lists, and then we'll get into the bonus sections, bonus questions of things we'll touch on, and then we'll close.
Okay, sounds good.
I think one reason, honestly, might be the fact that despite being such a big, wide-ranging story of sheer epicness and having a whole bunch of themes and magic and guns and monsters, and it's these themes of revenge and the conspiracy and the value of life and religion and science and that sort of thing. The fact that it's such a succinct story and it's not like one of those things that has like hundreds of episodes or anything like that, or it doesn't have hundreds of episodes, and it's not like an event, a bunch of things that happen over the course of time and not like a bunch of separate arcs. But it's really hard for me to think about how to separate this into arcs because it just feels like such a connected through line of a story. Like, and I mean, you could do that with other shows, and I love that. But this one feels so connected. Everything with this just feels so connected and cohesive, and the story works perfect, and the characters are great, the story is great, and I don't know if this is brought up a lot, but obviously the animation of the show is great, but the direction of the anime is just phenomenal. I don't know who directed it, but they did like an incredible job of adapting the manga. Like, they couldn't have done a better job with the adaptation of it. And they have like a whole bunch of animators at the peak of their powers. I can't remember all of their names, but I remember the main guy who did a lot of it was... I'm gonna have to look up his name because he's just an incredible animator, and it's just everything about it is so perfect. It doesn't even seem real, in my opinion.
Did Yutaka Nakamura do any shots in the Brotherhood?
He did a bunch of shots in the 2003, but the only contribution that he had for Brotherhood were a few shots in the opening for season 2, which also happens to be my favorite. So say Ed fighting Gluttony and Envy, or Mustang shooting a firebolt at Lust, or the Shinnies 3 fighting Bradley, that sort of thing. That was all Yutaka Nakamura. The other guy, whose name I can't remember, who I'm going to be looking up in a second, was the main player and did a staggering amount of shots in the show, all of which are fantastic. So everything from a lot of the explosions from Mustang to the sword fight with Greed and Bradley, to Ed's alchemical beatdown of the Pipe Lord. All of that was done by that guy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wowza. Okay. Yeah, I don't really have any notes. Like, what you said was perfect. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay.
I didn't expect to monologue like that.
No, that was good.
Thank
that
you.
just pretty much encapsulated what we were all thinking, I think. Unless you had something to add, Quitzy.
And as far as how Fullmetal Alchemist effectively set the standard for world building, lore, and character development in the manga for the next 15 years after its end so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no better way to put it. You summarized it very well, Mac.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that does go a little bit into one of our bonus questions. where it's about like why do so few anime endings land this well? I think it's the answer to that might be because with some there's just so many convoluted storylines and
a
like
lot happening.
characters and things that are there where they don't have to be there, and then they're trying to figure out how to tie them all nicely to remember all of them. And the reason why it could be hard to remember some of them is because they weren't really there for a good enough reason, you know? And I do understand how writing stories is it's an extremely hard thing to do, but you know, you have to kind of know what you're getting into. You have to remember these different important storylines and characters and things that you have written in order to make an ending as good as Fullmetal Alchemist was. For instance, the Chimeras, like,
even they get an ending.
Even they get a great ending. Like, they seem like one of those characters who, like, if another anime had them, I'm not going to name any names, but you might know what I'm thinking of. If another anime had them, they might just, like, lamely end it, you know? Like, we might get a brief, like, no audio, like, no audio thing of, in a montage and a voiceover of the main character of like what they're doing now,
or they would show up in like a side fight or something like that.
Or a side fight.
But everybody plays a very important part, even in the final battle against the devil himself.
Exactly. Like everyone has a reason for being there, and I just think that's so awesome. It's so awesome.
Yeah, and they get a good wrap up too. Like, I mean, I think Darius and Heinkel go into the circus, but they seem pretty happy. Yoki isn't very happy.
Well, I mean, he was terrible, so he deserves it.
Yeah, that's fair. but yeah, I think another reason why it kind of pays off is because, like you said, it kind of wraps it up with a neat bow. Like, I haven't, like, it's been 4 years. I haven't seen anything saying things like about anything.
Like,
I think anyone saying anything bad about the anime in general, or the end, or especially the ending. Everybody agrees that the ending is fantastic.
It's perfect.
Yeah. One thing I find also interesting is how after the midpoint, I think that's kind of after the midpoint is kind of where the plot, you know, slows down a bit, and sometimes that's kind of where it kind of goes down in quality a bit. But interestingly, that does not happen with this.
It increases in quality.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
crazy.
And I think, and one thing I think you've mentioned at length that it takes advantage of, Mac, is that the good guys are so under the thumb of the Pipe Lord and everything that they're just trying their best to see what other options they've got. And then the whole thing happens with Briggs, and we learn more about the world building, and we learn about General Armstrong, and then we kind of get back up to speed when they start planning for the Promise Day, and it's awesome.
I specifically remember when we were watching that because first of all, it felt really good to like when they escaped from Briggs. We're like, okay, finally, we are out of the thumb. Let's go do a coup.
Yeah, let's do a coup.
Yeah.
A coup!
Exactly. But anyway, I specifically remember when everyone was learning about when the Promise Day was and that sort of thing, with everyone passing messages to each other. How you just said, we know your little plan, Pipe Lord. What you gonna do?
What you gonna do now? What you gonna do?
I really love that.
Yeah, and I said, I think he's just gonna go through with that anyway.
Ah, crap.
Yeah. Also, I love the ending of that episode with Mustang reading it
so
and then
good.
throwing the card away, snapping his fingers, and it gets disintegrated.
Yeah, I think everyone was like,
Style.
It's like aura.
Yeah, when Havoc gave him the message, everyone was like, oh yeah, we got the Flame Alchemist now, baby!
Yeah.
Because he's already proven to be like fantastic at this kind of thing.
He's got the highest kill count in terms of homunculi too, which
All
is
one of them.
One of them, which is that's a really big deal.
Yeah, but anyway, just how, like we said, everybody gets a major part to play. Everybody is able to kind of play a role, even in the ending. Like some characters who weren't able to participate in the final battle, like Dr. Marco, when Roy gets blinded, and Dr. Marco has a Philosopher's Stone, Kimberly's Philosopher's Stone, by the way, which he says he'll use it to give Mustang his eyesight back, but only if he takes away the military occupation of on Ishval, and he uses this new power to heal Ishval, which he does. And then Scar is also in Ishval, working with
Major Miles.
working with Major Miles to fix things.
It's
he
great.
does.
Like,
It's
they
great.
all-
And another detail
They're all doing stuff.
Another detail I really love is how Grumman becomes the Bradley's successor after he's killed in the final battle, which I take it to mean as a sort of thing where Mustang thought back on him slaughtering the bejesus out of Envy and just losing his marbles in the tunnels, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm 29 years old. I am not ready for this. I am not psyched up. I am not in the mental space to be able to lead a freaking country right now. I'm gonna have my future grandfather-in-law do it instead."
By the way, by the way, I think so. Grumman is Riza's grandfather, right?
That's right.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, I was just going to check that.
That's going to be Roy's future grandfather-in-law.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's granted, it makes things a little bit awkward when he was in disguise as an old lady at the cemetery.
Not for Grumman.
Yeah, not for Grumman, obviously. Just for Mustang.
Yeah, Grumman was honestly a little too comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a weird man.
Very.
Did he have to shave his mustache, or does he just? Is it like magic where
He's an
after
old
he
man.
goes back to normal, he just is able to grow a new one?
He's
It's
an old man.
like
He's
Major
worked,
Monogram.
He's worked these things out. These old men
Yeah.
are able to do that.
Yeah, like Major Monogram.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I was also just going to say that everybody gets a part to play, and it's very different from like other anime endings where you like hear like for Attack on Titan, I hear like things people saying like, oh, it's good, oh, it's bad. I think the ending is great. Like that might be my hot take, but it might be like a hot take or something like that. But it's like more controversial. I don't think there's anything controversial about Fullmetal Alchemist ending. Everybody agrees that it's fantastic, and they did a great job.
It's peak.
Well, someone else should go.
Well, the issue with Attack on Titan was how it ended in the manga. How it ended in the anime, they really fixed everything about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, exactly. But I was talking about just the controversy, like obviously between the manga and the anime. But you don't hear anybody saying like, "Oh, the manga for Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood's ending was better," or the anime was.
Well,
It's
that's because
probably
the directors were like, the ending of the manga is great, so I'm not gonna change anything aside from maybe give Mustang a mustache, which granted Ed probably added there himself.
Yeah, I mean the reason why the manga the reason why there is no controversy. Sorry.
Controversy? Huh?
Controversy.
What's controversy?
The reason why there is none of that with the Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood stuff is because the manga and the series are the same. You know, like everything from the manga is in the show, you know? But with Attack on Titan, for one thing, they're basically saying the genocide was okay. So it's like...
that was a bad idea.
Yeah, because you can't spread that to the masses.
I think
that's not a good thing to spread to the masses.
If I remember correctly, Isayama was like on the clock with that, so he was just like,
I know,
like crap, I gotta phone it in. Maybe with the anime will be able to fix it.
It's like
And he
being a
did.
mangaka.
and he did, and I almost cried.
Yeah, being a mangaka is like, it's not an easy job whatsoever. So it's like you have these time constraints. So I'm not going to condemn him for that.
Yeah.
But it definitely needed a change, and I'm sure that he felt the same way.
Oh yeah,
Because he wrote that
So-
last exchange in the anime between Eren and Armin.
It was
and
excellent.
It
It was
fantastic.
beautiful.
Like said, fantastic. It's so sad, and it was just very good. But I think one thing I appreciate with Fullmetal Alchemist is that obviously that story, Attack on Titan, needed that ending. Fullmetal Alchemist, it's just a full-on happy ending.
Yeah, I'm going to include another article that I read about why Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is different with the shonen genre. Another reason is because the release of the mangas and the chapters and stuff was different from other mangakas, so it was just different in that kind of way.
What, is it a weekly or bi-weekly?
I've only read the article once, so I'm not going to quote anything from it because I'll probably get it wrong. So I'm just going to put it in the description.
All right.
The link to it because it's really interesting. I think it's monthly. Like
really?
Instead of weekly, it's like monthly, so she has more time to think about it and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So,
nice.
Yeah. Quitzy, were you gonna say something?
Yeah. I was going to go back to your statement about Mustang allowing Grumman to take the title of Führer President. It's that even Hiromu Arakawa herself said that Mustang is currently too young to take the title himself.
Yeah, he's 29, like I said.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she did establish that he would become Führer at some point in the future.
There's actually art that she did of Mustang sitting at the Führer's desk, and with Visa putting a huge stack of papers on his desk. And then when I first saw that, I was like, "Yes, he did it!
He made it!" I mean,
Yeah.
some things never change though. I still doubt that he's gonna be a fan of the paperwork.
Yeah, but everyone gets a promotion.
Yeah, everybody gets a promotion. Yeah,
We all win. Okay, let's go into the next question. Brotherhood versus FMA 2003. Which story needed to exist? Why?
Okay. So, you want to go?
Yeah.
Quincy?
Yeah.
Did you have your hand up first, Quincy?
Yes, I
I
did.
think you may have. Quincy's gonna go first.
I guess we'll just go around the circle.
So, if I recall correctly, the reason why the 2003 took the story in the direction that it did was with Arakawa's approval, right?
Yeah.
So that way there wasn't a risk of the manga being overtaken by the story that the 2003 was blazing. So she allowed them to be able to diverge the story in the direction it was going. So that way she'd still be able to go full steam ahead with the manga.
Exactly.
That's a very fair agreement. I remember we called the 2003 Fullmetal Alchemist basically extremely ascended, very high level fan fiction.
Yes,
right?
and we still stand by that.
You still stand by that.
Now, the thing about the 2003 that I think is interesting about it, like specifically in the time of release, 2003, is that during that time, anime wasn't necessarily mainstream in North America. And
you were a freak if you liked anime.
Yeah, and back in that day, it wasn't mainstream. And 2003's Fullmetal Alchemist was one of the primary things that ended up getting American audiences into it in the first place.
Really?
Yeah. So the fact that it exists in the first place is one of the reasons why anime ended up becoming a lot more mainstream and becoming a lot more focused in America, which then, with Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood, gave it the time to shine in, in Western culture as well, and everybody ended up loving it.
Yeah, so I guess you could say Fullmetal Alchemist 2003 drank milk begrudgingly so that Brotherhood could grow. Yeah, I say begrudgingly.
Equivalent exchange.
Yeah, equivalent exchange.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. I think actually equivalent exchange might be it. Now that I think about it,
It works.
Yeah. So in my opinion, 2003, it definitely needed to happen. And it's interesting because it's such a conflict because it's not a bad show. Like, we talk crap about Hohenheim and but there are, parts of it that are, really, really good. It's
episodes with Lust or Wrath.
It's just fire.
Episodes with Lust or Wrath or Sloth were fantastic. And then I remember, let's see.
Envy too.
Yeah, Envy. We always look forward to the parts with Envy, but I think, and Dante. But the main thing was that there was such interesting ideas that needed to be put in that needed more time, and it's now that we compare that to what we got with Brotherhood that we're able to draw these differences. You know what I mean? And plus, there's the cool fact that the cast that they got for the 2003 anime, how the majority of them all showed up for Brotherhood, which is fantastic, and they were able to adapt to the characters. So Travis Willingham as Mustang, very different in 2003, and then in Brotherhood he's just able to do that transition flawlessly, and it's great.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. Brotherhood, in my opinion, couldn't have been able to exist as an anime without the 2003, because the 2003 was already really popular, and then the manga was also selling. I imagine at that time, I'm gonna have to do research on that. But in addition to that, it's the same animation studio as well. Studio Bones had worked on the 2003 Fullmetal Alchemist, and then they worked on I don't know, we have to see if it's the same directors as well, actually. That would be really interesting to note. So that would be really interesting to note. And also with the comparisons for these sort of things, it's just, first of all, fascinating with comparing how the directions of the two series end up going. And second of all, the casting, I imagine, for both the English and for both the Japanese and English cast was probably really easy because they already had a cast.
A crack cast.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it was just extremely high quality, and it all ended up working out in that regard.
Short answer is that they both need to exist.
Yeah.
For all the reasons that you guys were saying, with how, for one thing, with the 2003 and versus the 2009, 2003, they are working on the, converting the manga art style into the anime art style. They're working more on that, perfected by the 2009. So that's cool.
Yeah, exactly.
Also had the voice actors. Some of them were in different roles, but they brought them all back for the 2009. So that all set. Everyone is established in their characters. They're happy with it. Bada bing, bada boom.
Including Al's voice actor in the 2003, who played young Hohenheim, which is awesome.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah.
And yeah, they both need to exist. Like, I don't have much to say about that.
Yeah. Also, I will say quickly. I think there's one thing that the 2003 objectively did better than the 2000 Brotherhood.
Oh, yeah,
You know
I know
that
this.
is.
Jessica.
Yeah, man, we love
Jessica.
Man, Jessica was great in
My
2003.
queen.
Yeah.
and then she and
bookworm
Winry being friends is just their dynamic was fantastic. It was great. She kind of disappeared from the plot in Brotherhood because so many other things were happening. So I get that, but yeah, Jessica being in 2003 and her dynamic with Winry and helping out, it's fantastic. It's so well done.
Yeah.
and you low-key shipped her with Havoc.
High key.
Ike, wow.
Like, honestly, totally. He's a bit of a
Dweeb.
Moron.
Idiot.
Ah,
Yes.
John.
He's all of those things. Like,
Yeah,
but
get
I
out of
do
here,
think-
Jean or Jean. Come back when you're not a disposable. When you're
When
a
you're the
major
main character.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Honestly, I think that they balance each other out. She's the brains. He's the brawn. They mesh.
Why haven't you done fan art?
I don't know.
You know what you need to do.
During the rest of this break, I need to do fan art for
Yeah.
them.
Yes.
I don't know what their ship name will be, but I just know that I want it to happen. And
Jessica.
Jessica's pretty
Jessica?
good. Jessica's not
Jessica?
bad.
I mean, wouldn't we need to include more of John's name in there?
Yeah, well, it's just
Alright,
Jean.
Jean, sorry.
But yeah, well, I guess what
That's
else
pretty
you
good,
gonna
though. But yeah, we'll figure it out. But real quick, I don't ship him with Rebecca anymore.
because of the chef.
You don't?
No. Like, I thought about it, and it's like, oh, she's cute and stuff, but she could also date anyone she wanted.
Yeah,
With
that's true.
Jessica, I just think that her and Jean, or Jean, or whatever. Havoc.
I mean,
I think that they would be.
Shine. I mean, Havoc.
I just think that they would be such a cute pair that I can't get it out of my head, and I lay awake thinking about it. I'm joking. I don't.
Why? Is because of the pairing of the geek and the idiot.
Like, I just love it too much, you know? It's like the nerd and the brawn, and, you know, I just think it's cute. Okay, moving on.
I mean, you're a professional, so
Thank you. Yeah, I do embody that.
Yes, you dabble in the ship.
she does
I
more than
dabble.
she does more than dabble. She's like immersed.
It's true.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a problem sometimes. Go on, Quincy. I'm so sorry.
Anyway, what I was going to say on this topic of the casting for 2003 and Brotherhood and how easy it was, most likely, I think one thing we compared it to was the casting for the 2008 Star Wars The Clone Wars in getting a lot of the voice actors that they had in the 2003, like James Arnold Taylor, Corey Burton, or Phil Lamar.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, was Gray Delisle in the 2008?
She has to be.
check.
She's in everything. Hold on.
Azula always lies. She's always lies in wait. She's everywhere.
Okay, so the last question is Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood the peak of shonen execution?
Yes. It's
the
Short
peak-
answer.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's the, one of the,
Yes,
it's the peak of
100%
like,
it's the
it's
peak
in-
of like story execution in general. It's
It's
one of
like-
the best shows ever made.
No notes. It's kind of like, dare I say, perfect?
Oh yeah. You don't
No,
even-
yeah, you're right.
Yeah,
It is
yeah,
perfect.
You're right.
You dare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, very short answer for that because we've been answering that question throughout this entire podcast, pretty much. This entire episode. It's like, holy
Yeah.
crap.
Yeah.
So
and-
and real quick, it should totally be like a first anime watch for
Like, yeah.
anyone who hasn't watched anime and is into the action genre. Should definitely watch it.
Yeah,
Big,
so
big
like
time.
ease yourself in with maybe Erased or something like that. So something that's a little more not as high up on the anime, but once you get used to that, as soon as you finish that, you watch Fullmetal Alchemist.
Yeah, watch Studio Ghibli also.
Yeah, Studio
It's like
Ghibli.
start with those kinds of things and then get into Fullmetal Alchemist.
Okay, just quick question just before we go off though. Who are you guys' favorite characters?
My favorite's Mustang and Greed.
Envy.
Scar.
Brotherhood, it's Hohenheim. 2003, it's Jessica.
Yeah.
It's Envy in both for me.
I don't have a favorite character in 2003, honestly.
I don't know, maybe
But
Scar.
maybe Greed, honestly, in 2003. His last fight scene was epic.
Okay, maybe Scar in 2003. He was actually very interesting in that.
yeah,
and
mostly.
Ling 100% in Brotherhood. Like I
moment-
remember the moment he cut Gluttony's head off, I was like, hands and head off. I was like, oh, favorite character. And like we
Yeah.
watched that scene. I was like, becomes my favorite character in 3, 2.
So good.
It's kind of funny because of how
I thought he was a bit of an idiot at
character,
first.
one of my favorite characters and your favorite character end up becoming the same person as well. But
Yeah.
for me, with Mustang, it's the 1-2 punch of him saving Maria Ross and getting her to safety and killing Lust later in like the same episode.
And that was also-
like one episode later. It's just amazing.
And that was also fun because I watched the episode where he killed Maria Ross, and then for like a week while we did schoolwork, we spent time stewing and hating
We
him.
were so
Yeah, we were so
And
angry.
then,
we were so
the following
mad.
Saturday, when we watched the next episode, everybody loved him. And then we watched the episode after that when he killed Lust, and we loved him even more.
That was the perfect way that we could have watched it.
Perfect.
It couldn't
We had
have
a
been better.
whole week
We had a
of-
whole week to stew on
We
that.
hated
we
him.
were so we were so angry.
And
I especially was
we were
so
so
angry.
betrayed, right?
Yeah,
we were so
exactly.
betrayed.
I thought I knew you. How could you just kill this innocent woman like that? And then that Saturday when we watched it, we was like, hit her again! Hit her again!
Yeah, I remember the thing with what was he said? Well spoken. I couldn't agree more. Yes! We
Yeah.
just audibly
Man.
yelled. We were just screaming
The whole time.
Yeah,
Like,
and I didn't even know that LaFlosse was dead or not. When with her Philosopher's Stone hit the ground, I even asked you because I knew you had knowledge. Like, she's gone, right? She's dead. And you said,
she's gone for good.
yeah.
Yes!
And then we all cheered.
And I was like, yeah, 1 down, 6 to go, baby.
And there was much rejoicing.
Yeah. So, and that viewing experience, this whole viewing experience for this entire show, is fantastic, phenomenal. This great show.
No more notes.
was like-
no more notes.
Wouldn't
No.
have had it any other way.
It was like none other. It was amazing. Genuinely.
So, if you like Avatar: The Last Airbender, please watch this.
Yes. Oh, and
Yeah.
on unrelated notes, kind of speaking of Avatar: Last Airbender, Greylisle doesn't play anyone in Clone Wars. She does play a protocol droid in the Bad Batch, so I guess that counts.
That's kind of,
Close
that's cool.
enough.
I bet
Close
you
enough.
I bet you was Azula disguised as a protocol droid to get more information.
Well, the Kyoshi Warrior thing just kind of traumatized you.
Yeah, man, that was terrifying.
Okay.
Yeah,
fair,
genuinely.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, if you guys like this episode, please follow and subscribe and anywhere that you listen to podcasts because this is a great one.
Yeah,
And
it's
give
a
us
lot of fun.
ideas for more things to talk about or to watch. Please do.
Yeah, because as you know, we have a myriad of interests.
And we have nothing better to do.
Yeah, no.
We don't have lives
Wait,
or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, what else are we gonna do? Go to school?
Nothing vital or
Yes.
anything like that.
No.
Yeah,
Nah.
thank you for getting it. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
All right. I guess that's it, right?
Yep. Oh crap! I just dropped the phone. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, I think we're good.
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Okay,
Gonna have to
thanks for listening.
Gonna have to rewatch some episodes.
Yeah, big time.
All right. See you guys next time.
All right. Yeah.
Bye.
Hard made full metal. I
Bye.
guess.
Bye.
Toodles.
Welcome to the preview. Next week, we'll be going over one of the most tumultuous sagas in the Bible, Absalom's Rebellion, and we'll endeavor to turn it into a story with full arcs, character beliefs, and the tragic events that almost caused David's reign to end in chaos. This will be the first volume in our Bible fanfiction series, Absalom, the Insurrection Arc. This will be a multi-part series, so be ready to hear us react, break down, and figure out what to do with this tangled and impactful part of the Bible. Till then, God bless, and see you guys on the flip side.